Gary Santora, thus far it's been the Gary Santora show for the last couple of weeks.
Well, it has. Gary hasn't been under 130. He's had both matches well in hand by the time he got to the third string. So he's been bowling fairly relaxed. We haven't really seen him under the gun yet, so we'll see if that happens today with the Hawk, if things change a little bit.
All right, let's meet our bowlers for this afternoon's match, starting with our fourth seed and winner of 2 matches, Gary Santora from Auburn, Massachusetts.
And if you've been watching the last couple of weeks, you know that he is an incredibly consistent bowler. His average is 126. Gary's got a high single of 193. His high triple, an impressive 466.
And his wins, as Mike mentioned, have been very impressive. 415 to 311 over Bill Treeful a couple of weeks ago. Last week, 405 to 353 over Jeff Atkins. And he'll be taking on our second seed, Rich Halas from Revere.
Yeah, Rich is another fresh face to TV 50 viewers. His average is 127 at Central Park Lanes in East Boston. High single, one of the few to have a game over 200 at 202. His high triple of 486. Good credentials for the new kid against the former new kid a couple weeks ago, but now 6 games under his belt, Mr. Santora is ready to go for his third week.
We've reached the second rung of the ladder, and we're ready for our match this afternoon from Lido Lanes in Nashua as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues on WNDS TV 50. We started 3 weeks ago with 5 bowlers. We saw Gary Santora defeat Bill Treeful 3 weeks ago. Jeff Atkins was defeated by Gary Santora a couple of weeks back, and here's Santora starting with a strike. He buried it in the pocket and now goes for a 2-bagger. That'll be a 7 on the strike. And an 8-box 25. Now Rich Halas. They call him the Hawk from Revere. Right on the head pin and right through the head pin.
Tough start for his first ball here on TV 50.
Interesting note that Mike Moran wrote about Hawk Halas and under hobbies. None currently so busy working, no time for softball anymore. And then 9-box for Halas to start out. Rich Halas, 45 years old, works for Federal Express.
Nice little side spin on his ball. Leaving the diamond. I'm sorry, the triangle and the 10-pin, leaving the 5 still.
Married to Linda and a couple of kids, Colby and Courtney. Colby 13, Courtney 9.
And they've come along with Dad today to watch his TV 50 debut. Off to kind of a tough start with a pair of 9s against a strike and an open for Santora.
Gary Santora, in case you did not see him bowl the last couple of weeks, has really been in what could only be defined as an incredible groove of consistency. 415 2 weeks ago, 405 last week. And as Mike mentioned, not a string below 130. Which is really remarkable.
It is not a game under 130 and not one over 148. So he's put 6 strings together between 130 and 148. Remarkably consistent and high enough to continue to win.
Still be made.
Well, there's the shot that you can never make in 10-pin, but you've always got a fighting chance in Candlepins if you've got a little wood for assistance, as he does.
And there is wood there.
Let's go, Gary.
Last week that would have gone the way his breaks were running.
And a 9-box, 41 through 4. If you would like to participate in one of the roll-offs at Leda Lanes and have a shot at appearing on one of our television broadcasts, I would encourage you to call Leda Lanes at 603-889-4884. 603-889-4884. Find out when the next roll-off is scheduled. Sign up for it, and maybe we'll see you on WNDS TV 50. 9-box for Rich Halas. So we're looking for Rich's first mark of the first string.
And we'll always find room to put you in the audience. We tape on Tuesday, about every 4 weeks during the season, 10 in the morning till about 5 in the afternoon.
And you can find out when our next taping is, again, by calling Leda Lanes, 889-4884.
Well, the question is, will he use the deadwood, try to sweep it over to the left? Probably
I would say,
will.
why not?
At this point in the match, reasonably close. Take that chance.
He's not going to do it, though. He's going to take a safe 9.
Take the sure pin.
Well, the pin went right through the 7 and the 8. The 1 pin went right between them. Gary Santora.
Two, 4, and the 10. Oh, he is so smooth. Great extension. Good knee bend. And a good 10.
And a 51.5.
Which may very well be his lowest half so far, at least for the first 5 frames in the last 3 weeks. Well, there's an old friend from last frame with the addition of the 6 pin to complicate things further.
Gave it a shot. Gary's a board repair technician for Stratus Computers. He is married to Michelle. And a 9-box, a 60 through 6 for Gary Santora,
who continues to pile up bonus money in addition to the increased amounts of money he's going to win as he moves up the ladder. Our runner-up this week gets $250. Gary Santora already has $270 in bonus money.
Rich Halas with the half Worcester. Gave it a shot.
Starts way over on the right side of the approach. I don't know if you can really tell that from watching. Then works his way more toward the middle. And snake eyes on that shot.
A 44 half.
But he's not out of the match.
Oh, no, not at all.
He's well within striking distance.
Both bowlers are struggling early on. Rich bowls out of Central Park Lanes in East Boston. That's a pocket shot.
Well, when we said striking distance, we mean striking distance. His first mark of the match.
Which puts him virtually dead even with Gary Santora. Gary answers. That's the way to respond to a strike, with one of your own.
Indeed it is.
Four horsemen right side.
Well, we've had 3 marks between our 2 bowlers, and they've all been strikes so far. Not a spare. That continues. All right, Rich Halas steps up to see if he can't put a couple together. His first mark is strike in the 6th frame. He'll be on lane 34. Two in the 5. Very much a spare leave. And that would put him ahead of Santora through 6. So a spare opposite a strike, taking Halas into the 8th frame now with 74 and a ball.
Triple strike carryover, $800 if either of our bowlers can put 3 strikes together. The bonus pin contest, the bonus ball contest at the end. At the end of the match is worth $40. And a second contestant will win 10 free strings of bowling here at Leda Lanes.
We haven't had the triple strike pool hit, I think, since Gary Carrington did it back last fall. So it's building, $800.
That's $50 for Rich Halas. $50 in bonus money. And Gary Santora finds himself trailing for the first time in a couple of weeks.
Second frame in a row, he's pulled the ball to the left, missing the head pin. Difficult spare combination, still 3 in the 6. He will fall behind by a good 15 pins or so.
Well, he needs a mark to get up in the 120 region. And it doesn't leave himself an easy shot.
Yeah, if that wood stays there.
But it's not. Will it stay on the lane? I guess it will. It's going to come back and forth. Here it comes. Can't make up its mind.
Very painful just to watch it and wonder.
And it found a groove.
Still rocking.
It won't stop.
It's got that hypnotic thing. I'm getting sleepy.
Bring it home, Gary.
A 105 first string for Gary Santora.
Characteristically low for him by at least 25 pins. Giving our newcomer Rich Halas a chance to really capitalize. He's on 3 marks in a row. You couldn't see it on that shot, but he's not shy with his body English, Dick.
It's fun to watch.
Very colorful person to talk to also. Nice guy. Out of Revere.
Gave it a good run. $10. An 11-pin lead. Box to box, 1 box to go. Gary Santora was open in the last frame, and Rich Halas, if he marks, could open some daylight. Bounces it down and gets a 9-pin drop. Missed it. .117 for Rich Halas, a 12-pin lead over Gary Santora after our first match of Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua. We will continue on WNDS TV 50 right after these words. You now have 2 chances to win in our WNDS TV 50 bonus ball contest on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Send your postcards with your name, address, and a number 1 through 10 to Leda Lanes, 340 Amherst Street in Nashua, 03063. We will draw 2 postcards. The first one will match to our winning bowler who will bowl a ball, and if your number matches that number, you'll win the cash jackpot. The second postcard drawn will win 10 free strings of bowling here at Leda Lanes in Nashua. There's the address to send it to, Leda Lanes, 340 Amherst Street, Nashua, 03063. We're ready for our second string of bowling, and first to the line will be Rich Halas. They're surrounded, but they won't go down. A 12-pin lead for Halas over Gary Santora, 117 to 105 after the first string, and Halas starts with a spare. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin at Leda Lanes in Nashua. We're happy to have you with us for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, the only live Candlepin bowling show in New England. Every week we're here for you. This is our 4th stepladder series. We have 3 championship winners. Mike Morgan, Joe Ashline, and Gary Carrington have all advanced to our Tournament of Champions at the end of the year. And the winner of this series will join them.
That is going to be a dandy series, Dick, when we get there.
Double mark to open for Rich Hawk Halas in the second string. Now Gary Santora. Real contrast in styles between Halas and Santora.
Santora very much an almost conservative 10-pin like delivery, the extension. And Rich Halas, much more flamboyant.
He really attacks the pins.
I want to call him the Tasmanian Devil, but he's already got one nickname as Hog, so we'll leave it at that.
$9 for Santora to start out.
I want to say hello to our many viewers at the Hillsborough and Rockingham County nursing homes who tune in. Dick and I and all the bowlers every Sunday. We thank you, and viewers everywhere, for making this very popular program.
There's a lot of wood that could cause problems for Gary Santora with this particular shot, unless it gets out of the way, and now it's getting out of the way. Spare for Santora. Now Halas working on 2 spares in a row, looks for bonus money. He earned $50 in bonus money in the first string.
First appearance with us, he appeared on the Boston show 18 times.
Couldn't stay away from the split. Gave it a run. And an 8-box. Leda Lanes in Nashua at 340 Amherst Street is on Route 101A. If you're heading north from 495 on Route 3, the Everett Turnpike, it's exit 7 east. Or 7 west. 7 west. And if you're headed south from Manchester, it's exit 8. And right next door, and there go the pins flying. Right next door to Leda Lanes is the Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge. 3 spares and 4 boxes for Rich Halas. The Kahala Chinese Restaurant and Lounge has a terrific luncheon buffet. They offer takeout and delivery service, a beautiful banquet facility, and entertainment during the course of the week. If you'd like more information, I'll give you a number to call. Here's Gary Santora trying to answer. And 8 on his spare for the Halas Chinese Restaurant and Lounge at 603-889-5200. 603-889-5200. When you come to Leda Lanes, do what we do. The staff of WNDS TV 50, head next door to the Halas Chinese Restaurant and Lounge. The deadwood didn't do him any favors there, did it?
The deadwood totally disappeared as if it wasn't even there, yet it was right in front of the other two pins. Wow. Rough box for Gary Santora. Finds himself trailing by a few more pins now into the 4th frame.
Up against the mark right now. Good pocket shot. And it'll be an 8 drop.
The 6-pin moving a little bit to the left, which makes it a little bit more difficult. Easier to pick it right off cleanly.
Good spare for Santora, opposite a spare from Halas. So we've completed 4 frames of our 2nd string, and we have a very interesting match developing between Gary Santora, the 4th seed, and 2nd seed Rich Halas on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV 50. Rich Halas stepping to the line, 5th frame, 2nd string. He's working on a spare. He took a 12-pin lead into the 2nd string. He's added to that by about 10. That's a 60-half for Halas. Oh, check it. That's a 4-box score I'm looking at.
For Rich Halas, 70 at the midway point of the 2nd game, which he holds a 24-pin lead.
Pending what Gary Santora can get on his fill of a spare in the 4th box.
What you call your backdoor strike, as we'll have another look at it. The 6 falling into the 3.
He used them all, didn't he?
He did. It's a thing of beauty. Just a 4 fill. The 4 horsemen on the left side, along with the 8 and the 10 in the back row, with Wood right in front of the 10.
Almost made it. Box to box, it's an 11-pin lead in the string as we watch it one more time as he almost made this spare. Well, that pin goes between the 4 and the 7. If it hits either one of them, he has a chance to make it.
Now, this is about the point last week that he kind of lost the touch for a little bit before he came back and finished strong against Jeff Atkins. He's struggling now.
And that'll be a 7-box. And a chance for Halas to really make some hay.
Yeah, a double strike would be devastating to Gary Santora at this point. Next week, we're going to see Rich Lottie, who we've seen on the Skins show many, many times, but never Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
That's 2 strikes in a row, and now we are looking at an $800 shot coming up right now. This shot could be worth $800 to Halas.
I don't think folks in the audience don't know that. A lot of pressure.
the jack. One more.
All right, we'll reinvest it in some Fidelity Mutual funds there for another week. $800. It'll still be there next time somebody throws a pair.
And the bonus money string.
Well, he certainly lengthened his lead. Double strike will help you every time. Now a 71-pin match lead.
To say that Gary needs to mark right now would be somewhat of an understatement. Waits for that wood to roll out of the way on the right side. It could get in the way with the wood angled the way it is.
How did that stay up?
Yeah, I figured that wood might stop it. Yeah.
Watch it again. We'll see just how it did, in fact, miss. Yep, that wood that was laying there got in the way.
Well, payback can be a good thing.
Well, again, the wood is angled in a funny way there.
It would be tough to imagine him not getting it.
Sit down, Gary.
All right, an important mark for Gary Santora.
As Rich Halas piles on the marks, he's only left 2 pins standing, and that was in the 3rd frame. Everything else has been nearly perfect.
He does attack the pins, though. Boy.
Well, this is an opportunity now for Gary Santora to jump on what will be an open frame and add to his mark in the 8th.
133 through 9 for Hawk Halas. And the name Hawk has nothing to do with his physical appearance.
No, he doesn't have the beak-type nose, which is...
There's a hockey reference.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Boy, from the angle that we had watching that ball go down lane 33, you knew it had a chance. Right in the pocket, buried in the 1-3 pocket. 143 plus 2 balls. $150 so far.
This would be a pretty shot if it goes.
153 for a Hawk Halas as he gets high fives from his kids in the front row.
That would be Colby and Courtney enjoying Dad's performance today.
Gary Santora, 5 on a spare.
Lost his rhythm. Only 3 marks, and the fills on 2 of those were 4 and 5.
$7 for Gary right there.
Look again.
Watch it again. He could use a couple more of those.
Well, he does have a possible 128 here.
Sit down, Gary.
They put it right in the pocket.
Love to see him do it, but at best 118 now.
.117 for Gary Santora in the second game. A 48-pin lead for Rich Halas as we head to our third string from Leda Lanes in Nashua as Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues on WNDS TV 50. Well, a very tall order for Gary Santora as we get ready for the third string of our match on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, with Gary trailing Rich Halas by 48 pins, and Gary Santora's first to bowl. And it doesn't get any easier when you're picking half Worcesters.
Yeah, he's at the receiving end of the kind of beatings he's been giving the last couple of weeks, going into the third game by just almost insurmountable margins. To parallel pins. 4 and the 5.
Two weeks ago, a 415. Last week, a 405 for Gary Santora. And this week, after two, just a 222. So needless to say, the pace has slowed down somewhat. Meanwhile, Hawk Halas has really turned it up a couple of notches. Well, it went right around it. Gary Santora is saying to himself, it's one of those days. Watch it again and watch how close he comes with the one pin wrapping around it. Right around it. It just doesn't come any closer than that.
He's the Hawk. He bowls like a Tasmanian devil. It's Rich Halas, Revere. Still waiting for the pins to settle down. There's 3 of them. Standing are the 1, 9, and the 10.
Waiting for the wood to stop. Wasn't sure it was going to go at the very end, but it decided to topple. You watch it again. There it goes, teetering and going. Just 3 on the fill. On our bonus ball contest after the match, if we draw your card and it doesn't match the number of pins that are toppled by our winning bowler, you win a set of mugs from N&R Trophy of Winchendon, Massachusetts. That's the consolation prize. And as I mentioned earlier, we are now giving away 2 prizes on our bonus ball contest. A cash prize if the number matches, or 10 free strings of bowling if you happen to be the name on the second card drawn from our bin, which, by the way, gets a terrific response. And as you send in your bonus ball postcard, if you would take a moment and jot down a comment or 2, we'd like to hear from you and know what you're thinking. Gary Santora. He's kind of wearing the underdog hat right now, and the crowd is rooting for him to get back into the match. Solid pocket shot, but the 6-pin didn't move.
Nice shot. Back-to-back spares for struggling Gary Santora of Auburn, Massachusetts.
And a chance for some bonus money next time he comes to the line.
Yeah, he's done all right in that department the last 2 weeks. $270 if I calculate correctly.
A 10-pin tap, they call that.
That's exactly what it was. 2 pins fighting each other to knock down the 10. They both knocked each other away. And he'll take a 9. Ball comes out of the channel. It's a dead ball. So 30-3 for Rich Halas, who may be feeling a little bit of pressure, knowing that Gary Santora is more than capable of stringing several together, as he's done in past weeks, and make this match a lot tighter. It's actually down to 30 pins now.
In the pocket, and a spare opportunity.
Well, this would be quite a comeback, 48 pins, if Gary can keep it going.
But if Halas keeps answering with marks, that'll be a little bit more difficult, too. And 4 frames complete in our 3rd string, with Gary Santora and Rich Halas both working on marks when we come back to Lido Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV 50. Gary Santora steps to the line. He has 2 spares in a row, a chance for some bonus money here, and more importantly, he needs to mark to get back into the match. Right in the pocket.
There's a nice break. The wood rolling back, because those 3 by themselves are very difficult to take down.
The way the wood is angled right now, this is a makeable shot.
Very favorable. The double wood, and then, of course, the 7 in the corner.
They'll be ganging up on that 7-pin. Whether or not they take it, that's the issue. Here it comes.
A little too thinly, I think. Really needed that to keep the momentum going, not to mention bonus money.
Yeah, that was an important spare that he didn't get.
Because Halas is working on a spare in the 4th.
And that's another reason why it was an important spare that he didn't get, because that would have filled it. Watch it again. Perfectly thrown ball. 3 marks in the last 4 boxes, but the open is a real costly one.
Well, Halas is probably feeling the heat just a little.
Well, he missed the head pin, but got an 8-pin drop anyway.
Getting some very nice pinfall breaks on some hits that aren't all that great. $250 to our runner-up today. Next week, of course, the top prize. Rich Lottie standing by to see who he'll bowl for the $1,000 top prize.
Box to box, Gary Santora has gained back 7 pins. But he needs a lot more than that. Santora has a strike in this frame, and now Halas tries to match it with a mark. And he does that. So not knuckling under the pressure, Hawk Halas marks in the 6th box. Now Gary Santora really needs to mark the rest of the way out.
And that is going to be a tough order with that split. Beautiful try.
It's a great effort. Left the 4-pin. Watch him slide that lead pin over just past the 4-pin. Couldn't grab a piece of it.
Running out of frames. 7-pin stands on a good pocket hit.
You think about some of the near misses he's had in this string. wood is favorable. It gives him a little room for error.
It's not over yet, but time is running out. Rich Halas can pretty much put it away with a couple of marks here.
$800 for 3 strikes in a row. That sits safely in the vault at the moment.
Goes to 8 1/4 next week if nobody hits it today.
Left the middle pin. Well, Gary Santora has gained back 10 pins.
And Rich Halas is up against a Gary Santora 8th frame spare.
Very solid 6-pin.
We've had more 4s and more 6s today on pocket hits that haven't gone.
Well, when Santora marks, Halas marks, and that's the sign of
Yeah, they both have 4.
a man answering the challenge.
Halas has gone into the prevent defense, and it might be just enough.
Hello, Gary.
Gary Santora right on the head pin, but leaves a very difficult shot. Whoa! That is a beauty. Watch this again.
Wow.
Perfect. 2 marks in a row. Gary Santora, a chance for some bonus money. Light in the pocket.
Diamond on the left side, 10-pin in the corner. Very, very difficult shot.
He put it where he had to.
Pending an earthquake, that 10-pin isn't going anywhere.
That'll be a 9 box and a 136 for Gary Santora. And the congratulatory handshake from Rich Halas, who will advance to our championship game next week.
So Gary Santora takes some $250 plus $270 in bonus money over the last couple of weeks. Nice $500 payday for him. $520.
Well, he can afford to do that now
Saving
with the match safely in his pocket.
Saving him for Rich Lottie next week. I don't want to knock down any more than he's got to.
It will be Rich Halas, the 2nd seed, and top seed Rich Lottie in the championship match next Sunday at noon.
A few weeks ago it was Morgan versus Morgan. Next week it's Rich versus Rich.
And a 115 final game for Rich Halas, a 3-string total of 385 to 358 for Gary Santora. We will be back to meet our bowlers when we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua right after this on WNDS TV 50. weeks of being above 400, Gary Santora finally ran into a bit of a wall and ran into a hawk at the same time.
He did, exactly, and the big difference really was the second game when Hawk Halas had a 153 and Santora 117. Otherwise, the first and third games were fairly even.
Well, let's bring up Gary Santora from Auburn, Massachusetts, our runner-up this afternoon. Gary, we have a check for you for $250. There's also some bonus money from 170 from a couple of weeks ago and another 100 from last week. And congratulations. And again, after a couple of weeks of being above 400, things leveled off this afternoon.
Yeah, well, law of averages, it's got to happen.
And when you find yourself getting into a groove of being on, when you get off a little bit, it's tough to get back to the mark that you had?
Well, sometimes it is. Sometimes you can get right back.
Congratulations. Thanks for being with us. We look forward to seeing you again. Gary Santora from Auburn, Massachusetts, our runner-up. And now let's bring up today's winner. And this is Hawk Halas, who will roll a ball, and we will pull a card and see if we can match it up with the number of pins that Hawk knocks down right now. And that is 9. Still 9. Now Mike Moran will reach into the barrel and pull out a card. Oh, you're really shaking him up there, aren't you, huh? Shaking
my
him
money
up.
somehow.
This is Rose de Grenier from Dunbarton, and Rose guessed 7. So Rose is not a winner, but Rose will win a set of mugs from N&R Trophy in Winchendon, Massachusetts, as a consolation prize. And now a second card is drawn out of the barrel, and this is Nick Sarcioni of Salem, New Hampshire, and Nick will win 10 free strings of bowling from Leda Lanes in Nashua, courtesy of owner Ray Simino. And let's bring up Hawk Halas, our winner this afternoon. For his victory this afternoon, he will earn the right to face Rick Lottie next week. And pretty strong match. Did you feel pretty comfortable out there this afternoon?
Yeah, I felt a little comfortable. The first 5 boxes of the first string, I think I was more nervous than anything. I was just a little tight, the ball, just not enough hook on the ball. But then I got a couple of marks and I got going.
Notice you got a little cheering section here in the front row. Is that a pretty good thing to have?
2 daughters. To the left is Courtney and to the right is Colby Halas.
That makes Dad feel pretty good, huh?
Absolutely.
Helps a lot. Congratulations. We'll see you next week. That's it. Rick Hawk Halas will take on Rick Lottie next week in the championship match.
Yeah, Rich Lottie is from Stoneham, and he's been on Candlepin Skin show many times, but never on the singles Stars and Strikes show. So you'll get to see him for the first time in a couple of years.
That does it from Leda Lanes in Nashua this afternoon. As Hawk Halas advances, we will see you next Sunday, same time, noon, at Leda Lanes in Nashua. For Mike Moore and I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV 50. See you next week.